Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and hang on, my phone is talking. There we go. Now we're back in business. Excuse me. Anyway, Kathy Howes from Denver, Colorado. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have a really cute project for you today. It goes along, it's more of my craft fair projects. And this one I'm calling a candle card. Now, candle cards have been around a while, and I don't know exactly if that's what they call them, but that's what I'm calling, so that's what we're going with. We're going to use the Kindest Gnomes stamp set. Well, really, we're going to use the bundle. Looks like this. It has the stamp set, the coordinating dies, and really with the stamp set, we're only going to use this Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, but I use the coordinating dies to cut out the coordinating designer series paper. Really cute paper, but 3 of these dies, 2 little gnomes and the little mushroom house, I guess you call it, you can cut out from the designer series paper. So I've got those all cut out, and we're going to use those. And then let me show you a couple other things we're going to use. We're going to use these aspen dies. This one, he's in there somewhere. This one right here, we're going to use this great big aspen die. Now this one has a coordinating stamp set. It's that little chunky bird right there, but this is probably my favorite. Although this leaf and this, well, anyway, you know how I am with my products. I love them all, but we're going to use those right there. I have a bunch of paper here. I'll try to go and tell you the sizes as I go, but we all know I'm awful with that. I don't know if my brain goes faster than my mouth, or my mouth goes faster than my brain, or I just get confused. If you want the correct sizes, I would go to my blog, becreativewithkathy.com, which after my video is posted, I'll put down in the description if you give me just a few minutes. The other thing I almost forgot to tell you we're going to use is this really pretty flocked and foil snowflake vellum. So it looks like this. Now, a lot of people have told me that's in the mini catalog. I totally missed it. So let me show you real quick where you can find it in the catalog, or you can just go to my online store, which is in the links below too. But it's right here. It says page 40. Let's go over to page 40. Yeah, look, and it's right here in the corner. And really, this picture in the catalog doesn't do it justice. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's where you find it there. And then what's this thing? Oh, then I'll tell you about this one. So the card that I'm making today, I was at my friend's house, Mary McCannon. She was getting ready for her craft fair, and that's where I saw the card idea. And she used this barn suite, which would work just the same as the little gnomes that I'm using today. So that's, I guess, why I marked it there too. Okay, let's go on with our project. Let me show you what it looks like. So one of them, I've made a few of them here, looks like this. And then when you open it up, it stands up like a teepee, I guess you'd say, like this. And then you take one of those little fake candles. Make sure I got the right one. Nope, this is the wrong one. This one has a little thing, yeah. Although I don't think you're going to be able to see it because it's pretty bright in here. But you turn the little candle on, you place it in here, and then the little light shows through the vellum with the snowflakes. So I think that's really cute. Now, I did do one, because this they're not snowflakes on this one, they're just circles. I did, oh, there's the flocked one. And then I tried it with the great big snowflakes on there, but it didn't, I think the little snowflakes like this just gave it a better look. So you'd have to try all of them, but we're gonna make one that looks like this one right here. Nope, let me turn my candle off so he doesn't, I don't know how long little Dollar Tree candles last. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing, I was all excited because I thought I cut all my pieces in paper out and we'd have a quick video and you wouldn't have to watch me die cut. And then I realized that I had cut it wrong. So I'll show you how I fixed it too. But we're going to start with a piece of cardstock like this. Now, all my cardstock is 4 1/4 inches wide because we're just going to make a standard card that fits in an envelope. So this one is 6 inches by 4 1/4, and then I have scored it here at a 1/2 inch. So then I have my card front. Now, I like to take the bump, I guess you'd call it, of the score line and put it on the inside. So I'm going to turn it over. So really, this would be the front of my card, because I cut out all of these little pieces here with that aspen die thinking, yay, I'm way ahead of the game. Then it dawned on me that I needed to put the white on here and cut them out both both at the same time. So I'm going to just take this, and I'm going to use my silicone mat just so I don't get any adhesive on my work surface here. And I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to this one here, and then put it on the front. I'm going to try to get some on these little aspen leaves, or stems, trunks. Those are trunks. But anyway, getting enough adhesive on here so it will stick to the front of my card. Now, when you make this, make sure you put this on before you die cut that, and then you won't have to do this. Then I'm going to take this. This is my score line is at the top, and I'm going to just adhere this to the front of that piece of cardstock. And really, I should have checked. I'll do it now and see if there's any adhesive shown. There's little pieces of adhesive like this that I'm going to just kind of scrape off there so I don't have them on the front. Well, really, all of those are going to disappear when I die cut it, so never mind. Because then I'm going to take this die and lay it back in there, and this would do the same thing as you cutting both pieces at the same time. Let me bring in my die cut machine, all of my platforms. So we're doing 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to lay my cardstock in there with my die where it needs to be, and it kind of slipped into place, so it worked out okay. It was easy fix, just something I hadn't had in mind, but it worked. Okay, let's run that through. Now, since I'm going through that second sheet of paper, I'm going to go ahead and go through once and then just go back through, just for safe measures. And really, because I've done all the other die cutting, that's the only die cutting we're going to have to do in this video, like that. Okay, take the die out here. I'm going to go ahead and put it back. Oh, hey, here's a good learning tip. So see how my die, all these little pieces and parts are sticking in my die like that. And some of them are even kind of hard to get out. Let me show you how I fix that. I've had people ask me if the die is like dull, like maybe it's dull, or if it's something's wrong with the die, do they have to buy a new die like that? And I tell them no. I don't think that they're ever sharp. The pieces aren't even back or sharp enough. Sorry, I can't do two things at once to cut you. So what I think is your die like this. I'm going to get all these pieces off because we're going to run it through again. I'll show you how I fix that as soon as I get these out. But I think the die is dirty. I think all those little shards of paper and all those little scraps in there have made the die so that the paper can't come out anymore. So what I would do, hang on, let me find one more of these, put some little adhesive like I did before. Set that there, a little bit here, a little bit here. This time I'm going to check the front and make sure it's not bad. It's not on there. Take another one of those pieces here, lay that down. And this time, when I put it in my die cut machine, same thing like I did before. My score line is still up here. I'm going to bring in my die cut machine one more time. I'm going to lay down my platform the exact same as I had it before, 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to lay my paper down, and let's see if I can do it because I have to put that die in there. And then I'm going to put a piece of just wax paper. Now, I have a piece of wax paper that's big enough that I can fold it in half and set it on between the paper and my die. And I think this is a way, what I'm going to say is clean your dies. Now, like I said, I'm going to try to get it in there because now it doesn't slip into place quite as easily as it did before, but I think it's where it needs to be. And you run that through with the wax paper on there, and it's going to clean that die for you. Or maybe it lubricates it. I don't know. It just is going to make it like your die is all brand new again. So let's see. First of all, if I got that in the right place, and if I'm telling you a fib, but I do this with my dies all the time. When my dies get to where it's hard to remove the paper, or it doesn't come out clean and stuff like that, yeah, looky there. Now, you might want to just leave this in there, or you could take the wax paper out. Depends if you're lazy or if it bothers you. But you can take all those pieces, see how the die came out or all those papers came out really easy. Now, I didn't get it on there perfect, so it won't work exactly, but you can see my point is now those little shards of paper come out, the die comes out nice and clean, and they're not stuck in there anymore. So that's just a tip. When your die isn't cooperating or being easy to use anymore, you just take a piece of wax paper and run it in between your paper and your die when you run it through the machine, and then it'll be as good as new. Okay, back to the card. And I'm going back to this one because that one I didn't line up perfect because of the wax paper. But when you don't have an extra sheet of layer, or you don't have to lay it perfect back in your paper, it works like a charm. Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna get all those little pieces out that didn't come out before. My card looks like that. And then I have another piece of paper here. And now I know this is 9 inches, like we talked, by 4 1/4. And then I have scored it almost down the middle. So it's not 4 1/2, it's 4 5/8. And that way, when you fold it in half, you have one side that's just 1/4 of an inch longer than the other side. Oh, and I got ahead of myself. We got to do this side first. Let me find that vellum. We're going to put the vellum on first. So on the back here, same thing. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat, and I'm going to put some adhesive on the back, and I'm going to make sure that my adhesive stays underneath where the vellum is going to be. So I'm not going to go too close to the edges. I'm going to put a little bit here, a little bit some over here, a little bit on that tree again. And this piece of vellum is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm going to make sure that my vellum, I know there's one place right here that not my vellum, my adhesive is showing through. Make sure you can't see the adhesive. Oh, and right here too. Okay, then I'm going to lay this down and lay my vellum front side down onto my cardstock, making sure that it covers both ends of where the die has cut it out. And there's no adhesive showing. And now I have that little window piece on it like that. Now, let's fold this little score line. And then I'm going to put some really strong adhesive here. I'm going to use Seal Plus. I think that liquid adhesive, like a liquid glue, would work, or maybe tear and tape. But I have come to fall in love with Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay, then this piece that, remember, it's got this short edge. I'm going to put the short side down. This is the longer side, and I'm going to lay it up against that fold line, making sure that it's straight along my card. I might get my head in the camera here, but so it goes straight on the edges here. Does that look pretty good? Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then just lay this, it doesn't look good, lay this down right on top of there. And I still didn't get it good. It's gonna have to do. Can't get my head in the camera. Now we have one long piece of paper that looks like that. Okay, then from cutting out my designer series paper, I have a strip here that's left over. So my guess is this is 4 inches by 1 1/2. And I'm gonna just take that and work on the inside of our card down here at the bottom. And I'm gonna lay that right here. And then I have a piece of basic white that is 4 inches by 2 1/2. And I'm going to lay that just above. Now, this is where you could write your sentiment. Really, in this card, it's where our candle's going to sit. But you could write your sentiment right on top of that, too. And then your card comes and sits like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish decorating it. I'm going to do a little bit more stamping. I'm going to bring in that stamp that says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I have a little piece of here of Pacific Point to match the card base. This is, see, that's where, I'm not sure. I think it's 1 inch by 2 3/4. In fact, I'm pretty sure, but on my blog, Be Creative with Kathy, that's the place to make sure you get the right measurements. But 1 inch by 2 3/4, I think that's right. I've used my embossing buddy to get the static off there. You can find that in the mini catalog in a kit now. Kind of excited to have that back. I'm going to use Versamark and ink that up, and then we're going to heat emboss with white embossing powder. And I had to just look around to see if the white embossing powder's around, but yes, he's right there waiting for me. Okay, I'm gonna look at the top of the rubber on my stamp, maybe pull it down here a little bit so I can see better and try not to get my head in the camera. And stamp that little Merry Christmas. We'll see if I got it straight. If not, I have a couple more pieces we can try again. Oh, no, I think I did pretty good. Now, Versamark is a clear sticky ink. So now I'm gonna just take that little tag. I'm gonna use my reverse tweezers, which is also in the kit with the embossing buddy. And that white embossing powder. And get all of that ink covered. Just tap it off. Make sure there's no embossing powder under my tweezers. Where's my little brush? The brush here is another thing that comes in that embossing kit. I got a little piece right here that is not cooperating at all. And of course now it's gonna bother me. There, I got him. Flick him off there, he's gone. Okay, there we go. Hang on with those again. I'm gonna turn on my heat gun. Let it heat up just a little bit while maybe I clean up and get all this other stuff out of the way that I don't want to get hit with the heat gun. And then melt that embossing powder back onto my paper. And with those fine lines like that of this greeting, it won't take very long. There we go. So now when you see it's like a shiny, not a powder anymore, you know it's all melted and ready to go. I have a little piece here of basic white. This is just 1/8 of an inch bigger than my Pacific Point, so it would make it 1 1/8 by 2 7/8. Like I said, go to my blog. It's a lot easier than remembering what I'm saying. So I'm going to take this and just layer this right there. Put some dimensionals on the back of this. And then while I'm at it, let's grab those little pieces here. I just need one little mushroom home. And I think I'm going to use a blue one. And let's see all these little guys. We can decide who we want to put on our card here. Aren't they cute? Look at all of these that you get. Now, I don't know if these are all out of one sheet or random left from 2 sheets, but you get a ton of little guys out of that designer series paper, although some of them are girls. So, okay, I think I'm going to go with those 2, so I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of those 2. Here. And then a dimensional right here and one right here. And now we're ready to finish up that card. Let's add our greeting down here to that piece of designer series paper. And I put the dimensionals on there. This is what's going to be the real stopper for the card front. And it'll hold it up there when you do it like this. Now that's going to hold the card front. Now if you're having trouble with your card actually laying down, you need to make sure that you got a nice fold here and a nice fold here. That will help a lot to get your card to lay flat here in the front, down here. Okay, let's put our little guys on here. First I'll put our little mushroom house. I think this is what it's called, a mushroom house. Obviously, I've never been invited to a gnome's home, so I don't know what you call a gnome's home. But it looks like a mushroom, and it has a door. I'm assuming that's his house. And then we're going to put our little gnome next to it here, like that. And then you take that candle, see if this is the wrong one again, this one here. And you set that on, and it's going to look really cute when it's a little bit darker. Like I said, it's pretty light in here, but you can see that light. Well, you can. I tried. You could shine that through your little card. I don't know. I think this is going to be a really good seller at my craft fair. And then I decided I'm going to take my little card like this. It fits into a regular envelope, so I got some of Stampin' Up's clear envelopes here so you could see the pretty project through the packaging. I'm going to just slide that in here. Maybe. Like that. There we go. And seal this up. And then I dug through my bag drawer. Now there's a good question. Do you guys have bag drawers? Do you have a drawer that's just full of bags? I found a bag this size, and I found a bag this size that I think will work. And if you take a little bag like this, and you just drop your candle in there. Although I think this one might be a little bit too big. Yeah, let's try the other bag and see if it fits better. Believe it or not, I have 2 bag drawers, and I'm a little ashamed to say that, but I can always use bags and stuff like this for my stamping projects and my kits and cards and all of that, so maybe that's why I have bag drawers. But there we go. So I thought if I did something like that, and then I either taped this to my card, but then that way I could show that it's for my craft fair. I don't know, I'll have to work on the packaging a little bit more. That doesn't look too nice. We need to find another way to package that little candle with my card. Alrighty, so that's what I have for you today. You might check back tonight. I have another project for you. They're ornaments using the gnomes again for my craft fair. My craft fair is coming up fast, the 26th and 27th, and I'm working my little fingers to the bone to try to get everything done. So let's see, there's my 3 cards. That's what I have for you today. If you decide to make the cards, let me know if you liked that large snowflake as much as the little circles of snow. Alrighty, that's what I have for you today. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here later. Bye-bye.